When discussing the wealthiest individuals globally, people often think of oil-rich Arab families, the British royal family, and tech moguls like Elon Musk. However, lesser known to many is the Rothschild family, rumored to be the richest family in the world with an estimated net worth of $2 trillion and an annual income of approximately $390 billion. This family is said to own over 1,800 luxury mansions and more than 100 private jets. This is not fiction. It's the real wealth of a real family. So, who are the Rothschilds? How did they accumulate such vast wealth? And what do they spend it on? Let's delve into their history and financial success. The Rothschilds didn't achieve billionaire status overnight. Their wealth has been amassed over decades and centuries through strategic investments and extensive knowledge of finance. The family story begins in the late 18th century with Mayer Amschel Rothschild, who established a banking business in Frankfurt. Mayer's 5 sons expanded the business across Europe, creating a network of banks in key cities such as London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples. This network allowed them to finance governments and large-scale projects, solidifying their influence and wealth. Over the years, their investments have spanned various industries, including real estate, mining, and energy. Today, the Rothschild family continues to be involved in banking and finance, holding stakes in various companies and maintaining a low profile regarding their vast assets. Their spending reflects their wealth, with investments in art collections, vineyards, luxury properties, and philanthropy. Despite the myths and exaggerations about their fortune, the Rothschilds remain a symbol of enduring wealth and influence, built through centuries of strategic financial decisions. They're a wealthy, influential family of bankers, philanthropists, and entrepreneurs originating from Europe. Their immense wealth and power comes from their banking and finance business, as well as their investments in many industries. The Rothschilds have been making their mark on the world for more than 200 years and are considered to be one of the most powerful families in the world. From their success in the banking and finance industry to their unrivaled influence over governments, the Rothschilds have become a global icon of success and wealth. The family's wealth can be traced back to the 18th century when Mayer Amschel Rothschild started a financial services business in Frankfurt, Germany. They have used their wealth to acquire huge stakes in some of the world's most successful companies, including Shell Oil and De Beers. May have also amassed a substantial amount of real estate across the world, including properties in the United States, Britain, France, and Switzerland. They also have extensive political connections and are closely linked to many powerful figures in the financial world. The Rothschilds have a knack to anticipate and capitalize on changes in the financial markets and to their formidable network of international contacts. They have been able to build an impressive network of business relationships that have allowed them to remain at the forefront of global finance. The history of the Rothschild, the family's road to prominence, was paved in 1744. When Mayer Amschel Rothschild was born on the 23rd of February in Frankfurt, Germany, he was the son of Amschel Moses Rothschild, who was a money changer. He was known to trade with the Principessate. Amschel Moses Rothschild was born in the youth and Gaza, the ghetto of Frankfurt, after his parents' early deaths. Mayer Amschel started to work as an apprentice in a banking house, and soon he became a banker himself. He was very intelligent and started building his empire by sending off each of his 5 sons, Amschel, Nathan, Jacob, Solomon, and Karl, to the 5 main European financial centers for business. Mayer and his eldest son, Amschel, were responsible for overseeing the growing business at Frankfurt. At the same time, Nathan established a branch in London in 1804. Jacob settled in Paris in 1811. And Solomon and Karl opened offices in Vienna and Naples. In the 1820s, wars were crucial turning points for the Rothschilds. They lent funds to warring princes, which included smuggling as well as legal trading of important produce, such as wheat, cotton, colonial produce, and arms. Eventually, the Rothschilds began to diversify their investments, expanding into a wide range of areas, including coal, oil, real estate, and wine. This diversification strategy paid off and helps the family's assets grow significantly. Their network spread far and wide and helped to facilitate the family's access to a wide range of markets and allowed them to capitalize on new opportunities. My Rothschilds' 5 sons also shared a unique business strategy that focused on investing heavily in the stock of companies during economic downturns. They were often ahead of the curve when it came to purchasing stocks or other investments, making sure they got the best returns possible. They were also known for their shrewd business acumen and often made deals that benefited themselves and their clients. Meyer Rothschild also used a strategy similar to royal intermarriage that was prevalent in those times to successfully keep the fortune in the family. He arranged marriages of his sons, often to first or second cousins. This wasn't followed up by the subsequent generations for obvious reasons. So by the late 19th century, almost all Rothschilds had started to marry outside of the family. But these marriages weren't outside aristocracy or other financial dynasties. Their investments in transportation, communication, and energy networks changed the way people communicated and traveled. They were also involved in some of the world's most important business deals, such as the Suez Canal and the Union Pacific Railroad. Perhaps their most lasting legacy is the way their success has inspired generations of entrepreneurs and financiers. The Rothschilds have demonstrated the importance of sound investments, diversification, and risk management. They set the standard that many entrepreneurs still strive to meet today. The Rothschild family work and assets. There are conspiracies that they own 80% of the world's wealth. But that's all. They are conspiracies that are very false. But let's see what we do know about where they spend their ever-flowing wealth. From initially trading goods in a small company, the Rothschilds grew bigger and bigger over the years with business activities involving merchant banking, private banking, asset management, acquisitions and mergers, insurance, venture capital, pensions and investments, sovereign debt, and commodities. We already told you in the intro amount of their 1,800 mansions. Those are worth a total of an eye-watering $36 billion. They also have 55 yachts and several private jets. If that didn't drop your jaw yet, the Rothschild family has a $100 billion fund that they use for investing in global stock markets like the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, and Tokyo. The Rothschilds have a reserve of about $20 billion in US dollars, $6 billion in Japanese yen, and $33 billion in euros. Talk about diversity. What did they invest in that makes them richer and richer by the day? The most noteworthy stocks owned by the Rothschild family are Meta or Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Starbucks, Visa, Bloomberg Bank of America, Qualcomm, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Hewlett-Packard, Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan Chase, PepsiCo, and the list goes on and on and on. Most of those names have been right on top of their respective industries for decades. And by investing in these rock-solid companies, the Rothschilds surely know how to multiply their money and our aspirations. And when we're talking wealth and luxury, how can fine wine be left behind? It's not just the finance sector and banking that interests the Rothschild family, has also been in the winemaking industry for 160 years. They directly and indirectly control over 70% of total wine sold in Europe and have earned over $16 billion in the last year alone in wine sales. They own multiple vineyards in Italy, France, South America, South Africa, and Australia. The Rothschild family also supplies the wine for the Vatican for free. That's a good combination of novelty and nobility coming back to their interest in finance. The Rothschild family controls over 25 banks and investment companies around the world. The Rothschilds have equity investments in 8 out of 10 giants in the financial world. Their very own bank, Ned Rothschild & Sons, which is an English investment bank, works on mergers and acquisitions. They also have a financial holding company. Party early on saw the Rothschilds also own a leading private and investment bank, the Rabobank Group in the Netherlands. So what happens when one not only has too much wealth, but also too much control over a region's finances as well? They have the capability to control wars and powerful decisions between nations. To the Rothschild family's control of banks is why they were involved in the independence of Brazil from Portugal in the early 19th century. The family profited greatly during the Napoleonic Wars by helping the British government with its finance, as their financial, social, economic, and political hold is so strong that it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that they own the entirety of Europe. And wonder how the royal families around the world feel about this. What do the Rothschilds spend on? The Rothschilds don't just go on with the boring banking work all the time. They also live their lives to the fullest, and Rich asked, let's take a look at the snazzy and jazzy things that they buy. Super rich people and yachts almost always go together. Planet's 9 super yacht is one of the luxury yachts the Rothschilds own, the newer generation of Rothschild. Nat Rothschild owns the Planet 9 super yacht that's priced at an astounding $102 million. It was built in 2018 and is 240 feet long. With state-of-the-art amenities such as a Helioxy pad beach club and spa with plush interiors designed by the best German interior designers, this luxury vessel can accommodate up to 16 guests. And a 26-member crew. Nat Rothschild isn't always cruising through oceans. So what does he do with his yacht at other times? Leave it lonely at a port? Nope. We know the Rothschilds well enough by now, and there's no way they won't look for an opportunity to earn some extra millions. Nat Rothschild rents out the lavish Planet 9 yacht for a staggering $725,000 per way. That goes down to $650,000 a week in the winter. Chateau Mouton Rothschild is where the rich and luxurious wine is fermented and produced by this eminent family. This 222-acre property alone is estimated to be worth between $150 and $200 million, and that's minus the wine. This is the price of the Bordeaux estate in France alone. The wine production will obviously increase the overall price of the property manifold. What's the price of a bottle of the Rothschilds Cabernet and Sauvignon wines? $700 a bottle. Yeah, I'll have water on the rocks, please. Here comes another stunning estate from the Rothschild portfolio of ownership. The Whitest and Manor is located in the village of Wollaston. In Buckinghamshire, England, this breathtaking property was built for Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild and his family in 1877 for the price of $1.8 million. Over the years, its price skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping $250 million. The mega mansion has awe-inspiring architecture and houses a number of expensive portraits and other antique treasures. The resplendent property also has a museum that sees 460,000 visitors each year. And what's there to say there was a writing desk made for Marie Antoinette and a gold bracelet bearing Queen Victoria's face that was a gift to the Rothschilds from the Queen herself. There are 25,000 antiques and artworks in this beautiful mansion. And that's not even the only property that they own. That's just one of the 1,800 luxury-laden mansions. As if hundreds of properties weren't enough, the Rothschilds also own hundreds of businesses across the globe. Their most lucrative one is Agora Oil and Gas, which was bought by Meyer M. Shell Rothschild's great-grandson and Nathan Meyer Rothschild's grandson, Lord Rothschild, for an insane $370 million. This was a solid decision by Lord Rothschild, since oil and gas are the most necessary resources that every country needs. Today, Agora Oil and Gas is worth an astronomical $1.4 billion. Unlike us regular folks, the Rothschild family, his kids probably started their counting lessons in math with 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion instead of going 1234. Just saying. And like many other rich people from around the world, especially from Europe, the Rothschilds to have a special love for art, and their taste is known to be quite impeccable. Apart from exquisite artifacts of gold and silver and stunningly crafted furniture, the Rothschilds have a huge variety of art collections. There are many vintage pieces to the date back to the 16th and 17th centuries. How much arts do the Rothschilds own in terms of money? The royal art pieces and furniture in possession of the world's richest family are worth a startling $2 billion. The Rothschilds' art collection didn't just attract Queen Victoria, but also attracted Adolf Hitler, who stole a few of their paintings while in France during World War II. The Rothschild family power. With immense wealth comes immense power too. From strong political connections to control over economies, the Rothschilds have seen and done it all. While many have had their suspicions about how the family really amassed all this wealth, others believe it is truly a masterstroke of financial literacy and a knack for investing right that the family possesses. Let's take a look at how powerful the Rothschild family really is. Jacob Rothschild established the Rothschild Investment Trust, headquartered in the Spencer Building in London, to oversee the family's banking assets. In England, the trust was called the RMIT Capital Partners, and it's huge for a private entity. This plush establishment is adorned with antique furniture and has golden fixtures. This spectacular building alone is estimated to be worth $42 million. The Rothschilds are known to always invest in high-demand business projects that always seem to yield heavy returns. A large portion of their wealth is attributed to the amount of gold that they collect. Their Rio Tinto Mining Corporation is the second largest metal mining corporation in the world. Their companies have spread their roots far and wide all across the globe, from Canada, America, and South America to Africa, Italy, China, and Australia. And all of these companies are worth $103 billion. Collectively, the Rothschilds know exactly what to go after when they're investing the most essential resources for human and economic progress: oil, gas, and metals, and talking about power. How can we leave politicians behind? The Rothschilds have many of them in their pockets. After all, the family owns not one but two large mining corporations. Here's how they multiplied some of their money. As per Reuters, in 2009, Nathaniel Rothschilds bought $14 million worth of convertible bonds, and the Glencore mining company, is worth $127.5 billion. Today, the Rothschilds also have 31 mining agencies operating in Australia alone, which makes them the biggest employers in Australia. With that kind of power and hold on economies, wealth, and even people, the Rothschilds don't have to do anything else except to multiply their wealth for generations to come. But who really is the most successful Rothschild? There have been many generations, each with many, many children. Remember, they have to keep the family wealth within the circle. So who is the smartest one to be more successful than some others? Let's find out. The most successful Rothschild of all of Meyer M. Shell Rothschild's sons, who ventured out his third son, Nathan, became the most successful after moving to Manchester, England in 1798. To set up a textile business, he established himself as a banker after moving to London later on. He set up M. Rothschild in 1810. M. Rothschild and Sons provided credit to the British government during times of crisis. During the Napoleonic Wars, the bank led funds to pay British troops and finance the war effort to single-handedly, and M. Rothschild and Sons is not history. It is still in operation today. In 2019, the bank reported $2.34 billion in revenue and an astounding $83.5 million in assets under management in 1824. Nathan Rothschild and Moses Montefiore co-founded the Alliance Assurance Company, which today is part of the RSA Group, in 1835. Nathan put another feather in his cap by securing the rights to mercury mines in Spain, which is critical to refining gold and silver. Seems like the man could predict financial futures, because this purchase brought him immense profit in 1852, when Nim Rothschild and Sons started to refine gold and silver for the Royal Mint and the Bank of England. Nathan Meyer Rothschild built Gunnersbury Park in 1835. It was his first land and house estate in Great Britain. He paid, and at the time, astronomical $70,000 to buy it. Then he went ahead and revamped the posh mansion and decorated the surrounding landscape. And lo and behold, the mansion's value jumped up to $132 million. Roughly 100 years later, the Ealing and Acton Councils of London bought that price, is putting the best of Hollywood's mansion's current price tags to shame. This shows that Nathan Rothschild was always in for the long haul. He planned things decades ahead and reaped the benefits later. Long-term investments were a crucial factor in his growth. So there we have it, the lesson. Nathan had patience. Nathan didn't look for instant gratification. Nathan was smart. Be like Nathan. But was Nathan Rothschild all about keeping money to himself? Nope, he was a philanthropist and contributed generously to many areas of the Jewish community. His family later expanded these charitable efforts to Paris and London. He started his philanthropic efforts with synagogues in London. Later, other Rothschild family members helped in supporting the development of Israel by investing in constructing housing and government buildings. All of Nathan's charitable foundations were taken care of by his youngest daughter Louise and her 7 daughters. He had around 30 Rothschild charitable foundations in Frankfurt alone. These foundations ranged from public libraries, orphanages and hospitals to homes for the elderly and special education funds. Nathan also extended immense financial support to the Jews' Free School in London, and it didn't stop there. He also provided support to various education-related efforts in Austria, France, and Israel. Nathan surely was the smart one among the Rothschilds. But overall, what generous deeds did the family do with that wealth? Let's find out. The Rothschild family and philanthropy. The Rothschild family has made its mark on the world through their incredible wealth and also their generous philanthropy. The family has established an extensive network of charitable trusts and foundations investing in health and education in many countries around the world. This wealthy family is well known for its generous donations to a variety of humanitarian causes, as they have funded medical research, established educational scholarships, supported the arts and culture, and provided assistance to those in need. And philanthropy wasn't just about getting financial aid to them. The entire family liked to be wholeheartedly involved in their philanthropic dates, from dental clinics, a free public library, and a swimming pool to old people's homes, orphanages, scholarships, soup kitchens, and hospitals. There were all kinds of charities, and frank fact, however, the family had the most variety of foundations in Vienna, perhaps along with the hospitals, orphanages, and educational foundations. There was also a municipal theater and a foundation for destitute photographers. Doesn't that make you want to say cheese now if you're done clicking a few selfies? It's time to study, because the Rothschilds focused heavily on funding educational initiatives, and support for young people was always their top priority. They supported the Jews' Free School in London's East End for many generations in London and Paris. They formed the 4% Industrial Dwellings Company Limited and the Rothschild Foundation, respectively, for social housing purpose, as the Rothschilds weren't limited geographically in their generous efforts. In fact, most of Israel's early economic success is because of the Rothschild family. They founded numerous colonies for Jewish settlers in Israel for the new settlers' economic growth. The family opened a silk factory, a vineyard, and a flour mill, and introduced a new crops such as grapefruit and avocado, healthy and fancy. Even in the generosity, the Rothschilds don't fail to impress, no matter what they do. Recently, the Rothschild family has been focusing on providing education and opportunity in disadvantaged communities in the Middle East and Africa. They have also provided job creation and economic development aid in these regions. The Rothschilds don't donate only money to charity. They have donated an estimated 60,000 pieces of artwork to public institutions in the past. So their philanthropic efforts aren't just thoughtful, healthy, and fancy, but creative too. Can I have the original Mona Lisa, please? The Rothschilds in the 20th and 21st century. Not everything lasts the way it started. And the same can be said about the Rothschild family. While the rumors of their enormous wealth still continued to do the rounds, the real figures have never been revealed. And that's why there's speculation if they really do have as much wealth as is stated everywhere. Even if you see different figures in different media, one thing is for sure: the Rothschilds are still rich as hell. Wars, politics, and family rivalries may have fluctuated the family fortune over the last 100 years, but it's far from God. There were a few bad days in the 20th century. The Naples branch of the bank was closed in 1863, and the Frankfurt branch closed in 1901. Due to lack of male heirs, the Vienna branch shut up shop in 1938. Following the Nazi invasion of Austria and the danger posed to Jews, the Vichy government in France seized the Rothschild Bordeaux properties during the war. That's not all. The Nazis also stole millions of dollars worth of art and other expensive objects from the Austrian branch of the Rothschild family. Some of these artifacts were returned by the Austrian government to the family in 1998. After all those hardships and challenges through the years, in 2008, all of their holdings were reorganized under a single company, unifying the families to centuries-old business as started by the 5 sons of Meyer Rothschild spread out across Europe. Currently, the Rothschilds continue to make investments in a variety of industries, including oil, banking, real estate, and agriculture. Their vast wealth provides them with a unique ability to capitalize on opportunities and distant trends in the markets. Among the young Rothschild family members is James Rothschild, who married American socialite and fashion designer Nikki Hilton. Paris Hilton's sister, another one of the Rothschild descendants, is David de Rothschild, who is an environmental activist in Santa Monica, California. One notable adventure of a Rothschild member involved crossing the Pacific Ocean aboard the Plastiki, a 60-foot catamaran constructed from 12,500 reclaimed plastic bottles and recycled PT plastic. On the home front, a Rothschild baroness resided in a lavish 14-room apartment on 825th Avenue, while Nat Rothschild reportedly owned a prestigious property, a pet-friendly tear in the West Village, which he sold for a staggering $17.5 million in 2015. In 2017, Rothschild Incorporated expanded its presence by opening a San Francisco office to bolster its Silicon Valley endeavors, though it never attained more than boutique status in the U.S. market. Despite limited business activities in the U.S., several Rothschilds have made significant personal connections there. For instance, in 2015, James Rothschild married Nikki Hilton, the great-granddaughter of hotelier Conrad Hilton and sister of Paris Hilton. Another Rothschild, Alice, whose mother hailed from the Guinness brewing family, tied the knot with Zach Goldsmith, a baron and former Conservative MP who contested the Mayor of London position in 2016. Alice's sister Kate married Zach's brother Ben Goldsmith, further intertwining the Rothschild and Goldsmith families. Unfortunately, neither of the two couples' marriages lasted, and they got divorced. The Goldsmith boys are shins of another extremely wealthy British family, Sir James Goldsmith. The two boys' father was known for his wealth and for being a bigamist. He has families in England and France. The richest member banker, Baron de Rothschild, from the French branch of the family, died suddenly from a heart attack in January 2021. He had a net worth of $1.1 billion in April 2020, according to Forbes, and that made him the richest individual. Rothschild retired investment banker, 87-year-old Jacob Rothschild, fourth Baron Rothschild, has a net worth of $1 billion, and he's known to be the wealthiest member alive from the English branch of the family. Mayor Amschel Rothschild's legacy continues with his descendants, including his daughter Hannah, a filmmaker, author, and former chair of the Board of Trustees of the National Gallery in London. The Rothschild family's journey has been marked by overcoming numerous obstacles, demonstrating that their enduring financial success is a product of hard work, discipline, and consistency. Their strategic investments over the past 2 centuries have secured their wealth, ensuring that future generations will continue to thrive if they adhere to these same guiding principles. Only time will reveal how the Rothschilds will adapt, but their history suggests a promising future. If you are interested in more inspiring stories of the wealthy and influential, feel free to click on one of the cards on your screen.